Hello, welcome, Green Mega Eagle. Alright folks, how you doing? This is my Lister ST1 hydraulic pack. Yeah, beautiful piece of machinery, as I'm sure you'll all agree. Got the genuine Lister adapter to take the Hyde pump. We're missing a air filter, missing the fuel tank, missing, I don't know, whatever's meant to be going on with the throttle. Decomp lever's broken, and that's just the outsides. The thing's completely seized up. What I want this for is the hydraulic winch, to power the hydraulic winch to raise and lower the lift into my underground bunker. And so I want an incredibly reliable engine. I'm not at all familiar with the old Listers, plenty of experience building engines, so the best way I can think of to do this is to just follow the maintenance manual as always, and try and get this thing as close to the book figures as far as tolerance is concerned. So this will consist of 2 parts. We'll have a first video, this video, strip down, clean up and dimension everything, and then I'll have to get some parts on order probably, certainly. I mean, I don't even have a gasket kit for this. And then the next time will be build up, paint and run, I suppose. Simple as that, isn't it really? Shouldn't be a big job, pretty simple stuff.
We'll have to leave it there, but we'd certainly like to see you again. That's Carolina Home Billing with the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Many thanks.
Oh. All this buggering around with the flywheel is just loosening the engine off. That's good. Oh, whilst we're here then. Oh. Oh. That doesn't feel good, you know. Coming up hard against something. Maybe we've got a valve stuck open that I've just bent. No, I shouldn't bend it. These are going to be completely parallel, aren't they? And probably quite chunky. Might bend it, I suppose. If we got... Way, there we go. Thank goodness. Praise the Lord. Whoa! There we have one ST flywheel.
Scenarios where we can use that
not great, not bad.
To require
Loses C, as would another 10 cabinet.
And as I tried to point out, since Kennedy was killed, no American president has crossed certain lines. These lines are into the military sector, and the intelligence. Kennedy would have had a similar hold on the American public, and I think we would be less conservative, less violent. I think war breeding.
Really get into, because you've returned February 2017, just a few months ago, after the election.
Cannot be sustained this way. So he attempted essentially to curb the most rapacious form of capitalism.
Absolutely true. That's why he's popular, because he did it. He not only put Russian economy back on his feet, he got income.
This doctrine has been the guiding doctrine right to this day. And in some ways, Ed Snowden is arguably the most significant character on the stage now, as consequences of this document.
Who is flying and voting, and Rafael says at the end of the day, India, China, and everybody else knows now Russia has arrived with a mighty military force, and now they have the receipts to show it. Yeah, big.
Okay, so that's Lister ST1 in bits now. Yeah, 2 benches full of shite. What have I got to tell you? Okay, so I'm getting my my cleaning process down to a you know, down to a nice, efficient, workable program. I don't know, sequence. So first off, this is going to get a jet washing. Yeah. Okay, jet washing complete. You see, it's got rid of the worst of the grot and a lot of the loose carbon in the combustion chamber there. What you see, the third compression ring and the first oil control ring are still coated into the piston. Nice looking piston though. We got our first look at it. I'm just going to pull that circlip out, and then we'll go for the next stage, which will be the immersion tank. Okay, so here's the dipping tank set up. We've got a stainless bowl full of engine oil, brake rotor sat on top, and gas bottle on top of that. Seems to be working nicely. And the catering grade decarburizer in there. Okay, so we've got the piston back out of the tank, nice and warm. Starting to clean it up, but you know, it won't actually knock the carbon off. It loosened it, so we're now going back to the jet washer, and we'll assess it after that. Okay, so that last jet washing loosened up the rings enough for me to pop them off. Pretty much brand new now, but I'm going to throw it back into the immersion tank to try and attack some of the carbon in those lands. And there's a little bit of tarnish left. I'm not really bothered about that little bit of tarnish, but as we're at it, we might as well get this nice. Everything looks nice. It really doesn't look like this engine has done an awful lot of work. Like I said before, it's just been sat idle for a while, unfortunately. More's the pity. Out in the rain, I expect, but hey, it's not like I haven't left stuff out in the rain before, is it? Hey. Okay, cylinder head is as clean as I'm going to get it with this process. Yeah, I mean it's absolutely good enough. I don't know whether I'll do any more, but either way, I'm done with the jet washing and immersion tank. So like obviously ferrous stuff needs a liberal application of a water displacing spray. Probably a good idea to get all the water out of it as you can. There's lots of nooks and crannies in here, in my defence. Okay, there's a threaded cap with a flat head in it, holding the oil pump return spring. It's got a plunger pump. Struggling to get it out, so I made it's now hardened tool steel impact bit, which is why I've got my glasses on, eh? Yep. rock and roll. Give it a go. Obviously not hardened enough. Pretty short move though. Did you move? That moved, didn't it? Alex. Then I'm going to cut it down a bit. Reprofile it in its cut down form. Cut down. Reprofile a little bit. Far more likely to shatter. Fuck yeah! There we do go. Oh. Okay. Okay, got most of it done. It's all sat there clean, ready to get dimensioned, I suppose. It's not going to be that big a job because crankshaft needs grinding, camshaft, wherever that's got to, needs considerable work of some shape or form. You know, bearings in the block need replacing. I'll take you through that anyway. Thing I'm on now is the injection system. So Bryce pump and injector. Injector's no problem. Pump, I had a pump part before, not one of these anyway. And the plunger seems to be seized in there. It's not returned down. It should have sprung back, shouldn't it? But let's try and pull that apart and see what it's saying. Well, this got me thinking for a minute. Obviously the engine, the lister, is sort of 1970s. That's all in AF, and most of the listers of that period have a little plate on them saying incorporating unified threads. But obviously Bryce, who made the injector system, didn't get the memo, so these are still Whitworth. There's still some pretty ancient smelling fuel in this pump, so that's a good sign. Better than it being full of water, isn't it, eh? Well, miraculously, despite their external appearance, with a bit of a clean up, these look like they're going to be serviceable. Yeah, that one. All the, you know, really close tolerance parts, like the ground parts, have escaped too much damage. A couple of watermarks here and there, but yeah, I think these will be alright. There's nothing I can really dimension on these. Clean the pintle out. That was all blocked up. That should be alright now. Yeah, nothing I can really dimension on these. They sort of reliant upon having a test to set them up as well. So I have been looking for a little there's the little hand pumps you can rig your injectors up to test them, but I think most people would have just set them up sort of trial and error, back in there. I'm not actually sure what you can set up on these, to be honest. Hey, we'll have a go and see what happens, but yeah, this is the still got a beautiful mirror finish on the injector, and it's it's that nice close tolerance fit where it feels like it's stuck to the other part. Cool. I'm going to pop these back together just so I don't lose the bits or let them get crudted up at all. Well, look here, folks. It's decision time with this engine, isn't it? Yeah, whether or not I spend money or get machining done. This is basically a brand new engine from what I can make out. It's just done, you know, just been left somewhere wet. I mentioned a few bits. Obviously I've done a lot of cleaning, you know. Crankshaft didn't look like this when I fished it out. Just got these watermarks, but look at that surface there, you know. Once it's cleaned up, it's just you've still got watermarks, ignore them for the minute, but it's just a brand new crankshaft. There's no tram lines or anything. That's all watermarks. Yeah, it looks like wear probably, but it's all just watermarks. And I mic'd it. I ended up using two different mics, and because I didn't trust the first one, started off with the adjustable mic, and I actually got over, and then went to a 2 to 3 mic, this one, and got you know, pretty much bob on the money on everything. Everything crankshaft related. Everything else is just fine, apart from a few odd bits like the end of the cam follower is nasty. The push rods, wherever they vanish to, I am going to have to replace. That's not the end of the world. You know, it looks so crappy when I pulled it out, but the catering grade decarburizer and the you know, and the immersion tank or ultrasonic bath have done a spectacular job on all this stuff. Look at that governor. There's just a lump of black crud when it came out. You know, rockers have come up beautifully. These have been stripped. I'll just pop them back together. It's, you know, if you can put stuff back together, it just makes life easier, doesn't it? You know, everything's covered in oil. Anyway, so this cleaned up quite nicely. Those watermarks, they're not great, are they? But they're also not the end of the world. They're just very, very light watermarks, staining, if you like. The this one corresponds with the nose bearing here, which is shot. It looks more like it's had dirty oil, or that bearing's got hot, to be honest, i.e. no oil. Maybe it's done a lot of stop starting. I don't know. Obviously the rings look new, but it's getting new rings anyway. I've still got to hone the bore and dimension that, although I'm pretty sure that's fine. There's no step in it. There's no, you know, I can't feel anything with my fingertip. Which really just leaves the camshaft as the only dodgy bit. Fuel system's still an unknown, and will be till I get this thing turned over. So just got the the camshaft in the lathe. I had to use a dead centre because you know, with the live centre it wouldn't quite fit. Yeah, and I'll get back to you in a minute when I've lost the finger, I suppose. No, it should be alright. Well, that was an exciting experience, eh? That back journal was fine. This cam lobe was fine. This one, the pump lobe, I'm not overly worried about it, but I got rid of the watermark. There's still ever such a slight bit of pitting. This is on a roller. The other two are on followers, solid followers. This one's only got pitting on the back of the cam. So that's where the pitting is, and then up to the nose of the cam's clear, and then the oil pump eccentric, it's not a cam, it's an eccentric, was bad all the way around pretty much, and I've taken a lot of material off. Kind of got to the point where I didn't want to go anymore. There's a little bit of pitting there, but most of it's gone. I'm quite happy with that. All in all, I think we're going to be alright, lads. Let's what else we got to do? Cylinder, bit of cylinder work, I reckon. Okay, so the only bit of this engine I haven't really looked at yet is this this cylinder. I'm going to give it a clean first with the knobbly bobbly. I'm sure a lot of American viewers know what this is, but you know, they're not overly common here in the UK. I've always used them because I work on American engines and that, and it's what the maintenance manual says to use, you know. Probably best to give you a before and after shot, isn't it, eh? So, what can we see? What can you see, more to the point? There we go, that's a nice angle, isn't it? Yeah. Mostly it's just watermarks in here, but there's a bit of glaze. You can still just about pick out the original cross hatching there. Bit of corrosion. So this isn't an old cylinder, it isn't an old worn cylinder. There's no, like I say, there's no step in it whatsoever. You know, more watermarks, the black stuff. Yeah, not bad at all. So I don't want to go any further, to be honest. Don't think I've ever overdone it with that thing. Never heard any stories of anyone buggering up a cylinder with one. But either way, we do have a little bit of pitting there, which is unfortunate. That I can't feel with my thumb. There's no ridge in the bottom, which, you know, wouldn't be normal anyway. But we've got a little ridge in the top somewhere. I did feel it. Yeah, very faint ridge. Let's measure it and see what it says. So I've been running both of these together, the adjustable mic and the well, this is an adjustable, you know, you've got a bar there and then a 1/2 inch spacer there, because this mic's only 1/2 inch. Yeah, and either they're exactly the same amount out, or they're pretty accurate. Yeah, neither of them calibrated, so whatever. Your guess is as good as mine. We're about a thou difference between smallest and largest. I've measured again and again and again several times for each measurement. What does that mean? And that's right underneath this step. Yeah, so it doesn't appear to be any noticeable ovality apart from right at the top here, which isn't what you'd expect, but you know, it's odd. Whatever. What confuses me is the difference in bore size between the ST is this engine, air cooled. The STW is, you guessed it, water cooled, but it's got ever such a slightly smaller bore, yet they've both got the same size piston. And I'd kind of expect it to be the other way around. I'd expect the air cooled engine to grow more, as it were. Yeah, strange. Quite often in the higher performance engines, they choke bores, well, in petrol engines, air cooled petrol engines. So it used to be quite common on motorbikes, and the Lycomings and Continentals, the higher output engines, sometimes have a choke bore. So it'll be, when the engine's cold, the bore will be smaller at the top because that gets hotter and expands more. So you know, when it's hot enough to cook tates on, you'll have a parallel bore, which is what you want. But yeah, it's not that common. I've only heard about it. I've never actually worked on an engine like that, but yeah. Weird. Anyway, we're in spec. Probably wouldn't be if we you know, really, I don't know. I think this will be fine. It is just staining watermarks, but the bottle brush isn't going deep enough to take it off, which means it's not staining. But anyway, that's fine. Alrighty then, folks. So I've got to I obviously got to get some parts now. I know what parts I need, what size parts I need. Nothing oversized, nothing undersized. So we can just get standard rings and bearings, gasket set, and seals. They're going to take a bit of time to come, so this seems like a sensible place to leave this video. Yeah. What do I have to say? Well, I'm amazed. I'm truly amazed at how quickly I can drop my standards. Eh? Isn't that phenomenal? Especially when it's my money concerned. There, you know. I had all these thoughts in my mind. Yeah, like if there's any damage, I'll get it machined and get the right parts. You know, saw those push rods and thought, where are they gone? Yeah, you know, absolutely no chance in hell I'm going to use those. But yeah, it's amazing what happens when you start adding up the cost of something. It suddenly gives you a huge incentive to bodge it, doesn't it? And I don't think we've really bodged anything. You know, the closest thing to a bodge would be this cam for the oil pump cam. Yeah, maybe that is a bit bodgy, but you know, looks all right. That's just a reflection. I don't even think it is bodgy. We were lucky with where the damage was on this cam. The fact that it was on the, what do you call that? It's not the heel, is it? The back of the lobe. Nothing on the nose of the cams that have a solid follower. That's important because they'll tear themselves to shreds. Roller cams like the fuel pump cam and the roller that sits on it. A little bit more forgiving. I hadn't realised how bad that was. Probably wants a little bit of a clean, doesn't it? Okay. Oh dear. Yeah. So roller cams a little bit more forgiving. Fuel system should have been shagged by all rights, but yeah, I think we'll be alright with that. Riding the spring's been alright because that's obviously that was corroded into the pump position for an awfully long time. That's all freed up now, and all the precision ground components inside, you know, the element in there and the nozzle in the injector, like those bits are absolutely fine. And that's the, you know, the close tolerance bits are the important bits there. Everything else cleaned up beautifully, you know. Really enjoyed dicking around with this bloody engine. Yeah, very rewarding. If anyone's ever in any doubt, just get one. They're you know, they're cheap enough, aren't they? Like I did just put a bid on another one on eBay because I didn't just do it, but had a look for a new cam, and yeah, nothing available whatsoever for this engine. There's the counterclockwise one that is available. I do have a counterclockwise engine. They don't look as nice. The fan shroud looks a bit goofy, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, nothing for this specific engine, so I put a bid on another one. It's been at 50 quid for the last couple of days, and it's got 2 days left, so maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. Not really fussed either way, but I sort of feel like every time I use one, I need to replace it now. Like that's you know, so we've always got half a dozen engines sat outside under that tarpaulin, waiting to be used for something silly, you know, and hopefully in the future I can store them a bit better than just under a tarp. Yeah, fantastic, lovely bit of craftsmanship that's gone into these bloody things. You know, little bit historical in it, but still a entirely usable power plant, and we're going to use it. We're going to use the absolute chuff out of it. All right, okay. So yeah, we'll put this back whenever I get my bits and pieces. You know, if I get them all from the same people, then
hopefully I'll have another video on this with it running and painted and all that nice within the next couple of weeks. Alright, okay, until then, you know, probably do something else in between, but yeah, I'll see you later guys. Cheerio, bye bye.